Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, Taurus, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the 10 of Discs, which has everything to do with wealth. Happy to see that, right? Not mad about it. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and see what are these tea leaves going to tell us tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. And if you would like to hit that like button or leave a comment, I would not be mad. Not at all. All right, let's see. So it looks like we have two big players in this story here. I'm seeing two major roles, right? One for you, one for maybe somebody else. Maybe this is somebody that you are romantically involved with. Maybe you work with them. There's a close connection. Now we have one person here, one person here. We also have them up here, okay? I think in every, here and here. So in every angle, we have these different interactions kind of happening. And so it leads me to believe that you are around each other often, right? Enough that you're having a variety of kinds of dynamics. Which, listen, if we work with somebody, if we live with somebody, if we're dating somebody, we're close to them, yeah, you know, day by day, things are going to be a little bit different depending on the variables. So this is somebody that, I mean, it feels like they really do affect kind of your emotional state at times. They, well, you know, if they're in a bad mood, I could see you maybe kind of feeling a little bit more apprehensive or even kind of internalizing some of their like yucky energy. And you know what? Vice versa. I think that you also affect them deeply. So, and why do I say this? Yes, it's because I see we have a cup right here, right in between the two. Emotional vessel, emotional waters, those beautiful divine and life-giving waters that the Ace of Cups holds, or the Grail, right? And so I feel like this is very much shared between the two of you. It feels like, and I'm going to look over here. It feels like you both are maybe going through a period of time here where you've been a little bit worried about some kind of money, right? Or, you know, something coming through, getting payment. Maybe you had a client together. You're waiting for their money to come through. You know, maybe it is that you are beginning kind of a pivot within your work together, you know, going into maybe expanding your skill set or your offerings to your clients. Maybe this is within work, you know, hoping that you can kind of help your job promote a little bit more, get more people in there so you have more work to do. You know, it really is kind of this feeling of let's work together to solve this issue that is around money. And I do feel like the two of you combined as partners And maybe this is the romantic relationship, and maybe it is that you are worried about money and you both are like trying to, you know, work a few extra hours at your jobs, or you know, I don't know, maybe you grow something and you are selling it at like a farmer's market, or, you know, whatever it is, doing it together, right? And I do feel like there is kind of this, well, it almost feels like if you were doing this alone, it would be much more difficult, because this is somebody who you have like a soul connection with. You just speak the same language, you know. You absolutely are on the same vibe, the same wave, you know, and the frequency between the two of you is strong. And so I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like there is money coming down. There is kind of this, and I was looking right here, I'm like, okay, so kind of almost a square, and not fully formed, but I love the phrase, you know, everything getting squared away, to stand on the square, for your foundation to be nicely put together, super, super sturdy. We don't have any cracks, nothing sinking, you know, it is a firm foundation. And so, yeah, I feel like there is kind of a almost like a sense of good luck you bring one another. It's not only just good luck. You're both very talented people, okay? And so I feel like it gets kind of locked in here in the next couple of months where, yeah, maybe you've been trying to figure it out, get some traction, you know, finessing whatever it is you're working on, to be working in your favor, to be working at all. And the two of you are going to figure it out. Okay. So if you do have that work buddy, if you do have, you know, that spouse, that significant other, maybe it's a family member, a good friend, whoever, whatever it is. Yes, I see you absolutely getting to the goals that you are, you know, kind of putting out there into the universe. You're hoping, you're wishing, you're dreaming, and I see it really coming together for you. Absolutely. Now, we also have the letter R up here that seems pretty important, very prominent. And let's keep looking. So I feel like we have this kind of house right here. You can see kind of the front of the house right in this area. Here's like the roof a little bit. Now we also have two people over here. One is pointing out this way. We have a person who is kind of running away. We also have the dog over here. The coin again. So I almost kind of feel like, and I think this is, I mean, it's related because it's in your life, but not exactly related to the first situation. Oops. And so basically, it feels like maybe some kind of family member, or, and I'm trying to think, like what, maybe a family member. I mean, it has to be, right? A family member kind of showing up, kind of, I hate to say it this way, but because I saw the dog, you know, I almost got this like image of it's like they're coming around to like sniff around, see what situation you're kind of in, especially financially, right? And I feel like this is somebody that, and I feel like this is maybe why it's so highlighted. I feel like this is somebody that you were really close to when you were younger. And maybe you even kind of hustled together, Like this is your maybe like cousin, I don't know about a sibling, but it seems like maybe like a cousin or somebody you grew up with in the, like on the block that you grew up on, or, you know, you went to school together or whatever, and you always were kind of real tight, and I can see you kind of, yeah, like figuring it out together, you know, doing whatever it is. I'm almost thinking like you were like in Girl Scouts or Cub Scouts together, and you're like out there selling cookies, and you're really good at it together, and everything else. And then as you got older, maybe losing touch a little bit. You just kind of went your own directions. And I can kind of almost imagine that as you start to do more and more for yourself, and your life is really built up, that every once in a while you have people from family back in the day, whatever, kind of showing up to see if they can kind of, you know, borrow some money or get involved with the business that you're running, or see if you know, have a position in the company that you work in. But this person, I feel like you're a little standoffish because they just aren't really necessarily somebody who like you would give a reference to. They maybe are not, they don't have maybe the best work ethic, and maybe they have even burnt you before. And I see them kind of pointing and this person kind of leaving here. So I'm wondering if it's either that you kind of just give them the money, you know, no worries, take it. Or if it is kind of a situation where, yeah, I can't help you, but also kind of putting up the boundary that I'm really not interested in having this person in my personal life, right? And that can feel very brutal to have to, you know, either tell them outright or kind of, you know, give off the vibe of like, yeah, it was really nice to see you, but I'm really busy, and, you know, maybe we'll figure something out in the future where we can kind of see each other. It was nice to see you. Thank you. You know, take care of yourself. Yeah, and I see them kind of exiting the scene again. And I feel like this really is kind of connected in the flow of thought, because you have this other person in your life now where it's like, well, I thought this kid I grew up with, like, we really connected and like we really figured it out, and they went astray at some point, you know. I never thought I would have a connection with somebody like that again, but here I am. Now I have this other person in my life who, you know, I can collab with, who I'm building this, you know, little mini empire with. This person who maybe I'm even married to, right? You might be married. Having it all, having the whole legacy being built up. And I think that having this kind of interaction with something from the past maybe brings perspective for you. It might be something that's like that wake-up call of, you know, in the moment sometimes I feel like, you know, what am I doing here? This, you know, we sometimes argue, we sometimes bicker, sometimes we're, you know, just totally not connecting or able to really communicate in a way that both of us are hearing, and it feels like a lot, you know. It can even feel very much like a letdown. Like, oh, this thing might be failing. But then, you know, you gain some context or perspective through comparison of old connections and see, you know, this at times is going to be difficult. Listen, anybody that you have a partnership with, yeah, sometimes it's going to be really difficult, you know, but we have to remind ourselves, like, is this really bad in this moment? Am I stressed out? You know, Am I kind of internalizing things that are out of my control? Whatever it is. And then I look at like this old stuff and I think, my goodness, that was really volatile. Things could be way more disorganized, way more chaotic. You know, I could be spending my life working with somebody who I just can't stand, you know, especially if you are at a job where you're kind of placed together, either in actual physical proximity or like on a team or in a department or, you know, whatever it is. And yeah, they're not going to like pick the best, like, oh, you have the same kinds of personality, we're going to put you together. No, you're just with whoever they stick you with, right? And so, yeah, I feel like you're really in a lucky position here. And I think that you fully see that. Absolutely. So it's good for us to really partake and activate our gratitude in these situations, right? Okay. So I want to see kind of what this wealth kind of has to do with the next, you know, couple of weeks, couple of months maybe. These are cards I'm using as clarifying cards. They are the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. The cards are beautiful. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through and pick out 3 of them. Now, I'm really bad at shuffling, so just bear with me. This is my more simplified way of doing it. And just kind of stop where it feels right. Okay, so we have rebellion, flattery, and intuition. All right. So it does feel like, it feels to me like this person that you're working with, you have the same kind of, I wonder if they are maybe a Gemini, a Taurus, or not a Scorpio, maybe Gemini or Taurus. It could be an Aries too, really. Something very, very close to your age, I believe. Even you have a birthday close together. So you kind of really, it really is that you vibe on such a deep level, because I think that you grew up in a similar time period, in a similar place. So you understand each other's kind of, you know, your references to like, you know, just pop culture about how things felt when you were that age. One thing I can always like think of is how, like when I meet somebody in my age group and they went through something like, well, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this for the algorithm, but I'm going to anyways, but went through like 9/11, right? I was in high school when that happened, and my experience of what was going on would be probably quite different than somebody who's like 35 and has a family, right? So, although, you know, I'm sure we all remember where we were and what was going on, if you were alive or old enough to remember during that time. And so, you know, I feel like there's just certain times and certain places where it can be quite beneficial to be around somebody who kind of understands, right? Who understands a little bit of, you know, how it has been to be alive in the place, in the time that you both have. And I feel like not only that, with your, you know, them being probably like I said, a Taurus, a Gemini, or maybe an Aries, I don't know. There's a very rebellious spirit to both of you, right? Nobody more rebellious, I think, in all of the signs than a Taurus. Now, you're very charming and have a very refined and enchanting way of conducting yourself and speaking, and your ideas maybe are wild and out there, but you are able to present them to people in a way that is really quite captivating. You're always pushing the envelope, right? You'll never settle for like some prefabricated thing. You want to have things your own, in your own vision, or at least that feels that you can connect to it, right? And I think that your partner very much the same. Now, I also think that to some degree, there is kind of a little bit, at least, of a flirtation there. Now, I don't know, unless you are in a romantic relationship with them, I don't know that this has ever been realized. I don't think that it is the point, right? To be kind of coupling up, or, being physical or whatever. I don't think that is really what it's about. There is a love here. There's an attraction here. And I really think most of it is about proficiency and your ability to work together. And that is what is exciting. Okay. Now, intuition. Absolutely. I feel like you are on the same page, where you might have a blind spot they can see, and where they have a blind spot you can see. I feel like in this next period of time, you need to really listen to yourselves. Now, it might be that you are anticipating something different. The data shows something different. You're doing everything in the way that is supposed to work, right? But I think that your intuition is going to be more important here. It is so much about going off of what you feel is going to be the right move versus what has maybe worked in the past, right? Maybe you are in an industry where you can kind of look at the peaks and valleys of the seasons, and maybe every summer is like the best time of the year, and then it gets really slow in winter, or vice versa, and you kind of follow this model, and for some reason you're feeling like, well, this is a different year. It feels different this year. It maybe was a little busier, a little bit sooner or later or whatever, and I feel like this is a time where really following both of your intuitions. Absolutely. Now, as you are doing well, and really I think getting more and more traction in whatever it is that you're working on, it is important, as you are making more money, as you are gaining, more jobs, clients, whatever, maybe you're getting moved up in your work, you are becoming some kind of management, or, whatever. Do not, and this is the big thing, do not rest on your laurels, right? Do not get, and this is the thing about the wealth card. It can be such a blessing, such a beautiful thing, to be succeeding, to have those resources coming in, but it can also be a time where we're really off our game. Like, we've done so well and it all is coming together, and then we think, okay, well, I can just kind of ride this wave for a while, and you are not being innovative. You are not paying attention to your intuition. You're just going through the process, right? And you find yourself starting to kind of fall off a little bit, getting a little bit sloppy, or a little bit lazy, or, it starts to kind of teeter a bit. And, that for all of us, right? This is possible. But for you, Taurus, I think it is not even so much of not wanting to do the work, but I think it's the distraction. It's like, I'm going to celebrate this. I'm going to, you know, go on a little vacation. And it just, you get stuck in that mode, right? And it's hard to kind of make the transfer back from that to over back into the working, into the really, you know, grinding it out. And I think for now, it's important that you stay in that work mode. Absolutely. I just feel like there's such a flow of energy here that it's only going to be more blessings, more blessings, more blessings. But if you just fully kind of, you know, you make the money and you're out of there, you're going to go to the Bahamas or whatever, you know, for a couple weeks. The momentum slows a little bit, right? And I think that's something that is maybe, it's been a problem in the past. It's kind of been your MO, is that you do well and then you kind of get distracted and things kind of start to get a little iffy there. So keeping your focus, definitely. Okay, let's see. So I see a person. Let's see, I'll put it up here. We see, well, there's a face. You can see kind of worried. That's what it looks like to me. A little bit of a worry. And it looks like we have, it looks like HL. HL. We also have a 2. I almost kind of feel like there's this motivation to do this work, to do well. Because I almost feel like you want to prove something to somebody. And I don't think it's limited to that, but it almost kind of is like, you know, kind of this is just an old kind of cliche, but the whole like, oh, you broke up with me because I wasn't doing well. You know, I didn't have the best job. I wasn't making a lot of money. So we broke up and now I'm getting on. Look at me. You know, I'm doing so well. I don't want to shove it in your face, but I want you to see me, right? I want you to notice that, you know, all of this has come together and you are missing out, right? I kind of feel like there is this sense of almost, yeah, like I have to prove myself kind of energy. And, you know, I think that that's not a bad thing. It is a great motivator, but I think to exist off of that continually might be difficult. So I see you really, you know, maybe getting to a point where, yeah, you have done so well for yourself and now it's kind of time to let go of some of that old, maybe it's resentment, maybe it's just kind of a desire to prove somebody wrong or whatever. And, you know, I think that you have surpassed the need to do that. Really. At the same time, I feel you. I hear you. Very close to my heart. I get it. So let's do our self-care, or no, these are the gratitude affirmation cards. And these are from a company called Purple Canyon. And I'm going to just flip through here and stop where it feels right. It says, victorious mosaic. My struggles and my scars have produced a mosaic of triumph. Each setback in my life has provided me an opportunity for growth, forging a beautiful picture from broken pieces. Practice. Think of a setback you faced. that helped you develop strength and perseverance, or inspired character growth? Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to think of one real quick. Oh my goodness. I think it's just, for me, it's just getting to the end of the day, right? There's my perseverance. I got most of my chores done. Everybody is happy, fed, and safely in bed. You know, the cats are sleeping, the baby's sleeping, husband is happy. I'm happy, or at least, you know, happy that I'm almost just going to squeak it by and get into bed. And my goodness, you know, it just, that feels like the ultimate victory. But yeah, definitely, I love these cards, and yes, strength, lots of strength for us, Taurus. Well, I say us, I'm not really, I don't even know that I have any major, I don't know what's in Taurus for me, honestly. I have a lot of Leo. I was just looking at, we were comparing our natal charts last night, my husband and I, and with my daughters. And I'm always like astounded how much Leo I have. In my Venus, depending on the system, is either in Cancer or Taurus, or Cancer, Leo. And I'm like, that, I don't know. That checks out, but maybe not. I don't know. The one that really always trips me out is I have Saturn in Scorpio in the 11th house. And I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but it doesn't. It's like one of those shadow work things I need to work on. All right, so Taurus, I'm going to stop rambling. I want to tell you I love you, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I read them all. I would love to hear from you. And if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. Other than that, I'm going to tell you again, I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk real soon. Good night.